Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Gazelle, the fast and simple way to sell your used gadgets. Find out what your used Samsung Galaxy and other smartphones are worth at gazelle.com. And by Umano, interesting content read to you by professional voice artists. Stay informed on the go. Umano is available for your iPhone, iPad, or Android device. You can download it for free in the App Store or on Google Play. UMANO, Umano. For more information, visit umanoapp.com. And by 99 Designs, the world's largest online graphic design marketplace. 99 Designs connects businesses seeking quality, affordable designs with a community of 200,000 graphic designers. Visit 99designs.com/AAA to receive a free design consultation. That's 99designs.com/AAA. Hello and welcome to another episode of All About Android, episode 112, recorded on Tuesday, June 4th, 2013. We are your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Ron Richards.
And you are staring into our soul. That was really weird, Gina.
You've all just sounded like robots, which I guess is appropriate. I'm Gina Trapani, and I can hear you all now, which is exciting. Hello.
Yeah. Well, then what we were getting, we switched right to you, and you were staring into our souls.
Frozen right on it, yeah.
Sorry about that.
You were reading our minds at that very moment. That's okay. I'm sorry about that in the return, but it's good to have you both here today.
Yes, I'm back. It's good to be back.
Excellent. We are super stoked to welcome back to the show Joe Braidwood, Chief Marketing Officer at SwiftKey.
Hello.
Hello. It's good to have you back. Love bringing you on the show. Love the SwiftKey. Just keeps getting better and better.
I'm trying.
So you guys actually just pushed out a release, an update not too long ago. Could you explain that?
So the big update so far this year was SwiftKey 4, which came out in February time, and that introduced SwiftKey Flow, which is our sort of continuous input product. But there were a few things that we wanted to clean up in that, and we wanted to always give people more themes to play with, and that always keeps people happy. So yeah, that was our latest update.
Awesome.
I'm still using it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Flow is great.
It was one of those things where swipe. I tried swipe back in the day, and I didn't dig the whole swipey thing. But for some reason, and I'm not really entirely quite sure why, I was all in on SwiftKey. You came out with Flow, and now I can't not type Flow. It's just the way that I do it now.
Yeah. The thing about the way that we integrated Flow into SwiftKey is that we wanted to do something that was just very different to swipe in terms of just completely integrating with the typing experience. So you could just dive into it if you wanted to, but forget about it if you didn't want to. And what you'll find is that in certain contexts, like when you're one-handed typing, it's really cool to dive in there and use it. And then it goes and predicts the next word too, and all the stuff that SwiftKey does. So
the prediction on SwiftKey, by the way, recently I was I don't know if it's your guys' dictionary or the dictionary, but I'm finding more pop culture references in this. I'll write something and the suggestive word is more of a pop culture reference than actually the word, and it makes me
So a couple of years ago we put celebrity names in.
So I wrote the name Rick, and the suggestion was Springfield.
Oh, it wasn't Astley?
No, it wasn't Astley. No, but it was Springfield.
But I was just Cole after my name is Joe Cole, a famous footballer. But we're trying to get that balance right between people complaining that there weren't politicians and celebrities in there versus just kind of trying to insert that stuff every time you talk about yourself.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We're still tuning it, but there's a lot more sort of data that we're gathering now that it really embraces with the things that people are talking about, and you'll just see that get better and better.
That's very cool. That's very cool. And I was at a dinner last week in New York City, and I was with a whole bunch of iPhone users, and I was texting somebody, and somebody at the table saw me and had one of those, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And so I showed her how it all works, and so so good job.
Thank you.
Always love the SwiftKey. So it's great to have you back. We've got this was one of those shows where leading up to the the show just looking at the doc. I was kind of overwhelmed by all of the stuff we have to talk about because so much has happened in the last week. Moto X we'll be talking about, some information around that. HTC One Google Edition, which we were kind of wondering if it was going to happen. Well, it happened. We've got the information. ASUS had a ton of devices from Computex that they announced, and so much more. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the news.
And it just feels like every week we have another numbers update. Not that I'm complaining. I love slicing the numbers. But so most recently we got the platform numbers for May. So we've been talking about the Q2 numbers, or now we're getting specific monthly numbers. And these numbers came from Google that basically are looking with throughout the Android platform, what is the distribution of the various different flavors or versions of Android. And the big news is that Android 4.x is on 59% of the devices. So that concern about the fragmentation of OS versions, 4.x is starting to overwhelm, in fact. So 25.6% of devices out there are running Ice Cream Sandwich. 29%, actually 34% are running Jelly Bean then, and different variations, whether it's 4.1 or 4.2x, moving up from there. Donut is still hanging in there, 1.6, got 0.1%. And the only other big showing was Gingerbread continues to hold on as well with 36.5% of the distribution.
That number is getting smaller and smaller every single month.
Exactly.
Love
it is important to note that this is data collected over a 14-day period that ended on June 3rd. So this is just a snapshot of people utilizing the platform, utilizing the Google Play Store. But it gives you a pretty good cross-section. It gives you a good idea of the people that are out there. Does this, how much does this affect your guys' development, or in terms of what you guys look at?
I have a chart.
Oh, he's got a secret chart over here.
I don't know if I can show anyone, but this is everyone. This is productivity apps, and this is SwiftKey. And just the headline summary is that we already have, we're very heavy on the newest side of things.
Sure, yeah.
So we don't support 1.6 for a number of
I was going to say,
reasons.
it's a compatibility issue, right? Yeah.
We used to, and then we just couldn't do everything we wanted to do with the product. But already we've got, let me get the blow-by-blow figures. So 48% of SwiftKey users are already on 4.1, and 15% are already on 4.2. And overall, our 4.x users go over 80% of everyone that uses SwiftKey. So
wow, that's huge.
Gives you an insight into the early adopter market that I think we touch on.
Yeah. I mean that distribution across, because this is from the Google Play Store, so this is anybody accessing anything. I'd be curious to see what that distribution looks like to a non-early adopter app. Like, what is a common app that everybody's using? Does it match more of this or in line with Yeah,
I mean, we just have our data, which is why I thought I'd share it with you.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
But, it's we know that SwiftKey is a kind of a power user app that I mean, we think it's very usable for everyone, but the kind of people that are going to pay for something like that are probably going to be more engaged, more reading the tech blogs, more sort of focused on updating early, that kind of stuff. So it just proves, I guess, that we're a pretty early adopter product.
Yeah. But in terms of that, it just shows that we're getting solidified on 4.x, which is great, which is up to 59% of all devices. That's something to build on, I think, right?
Yeah. And I mean that touches on the quality of the apps that we're getting as a result of that. More developers, the more and more devices that kind of end up in that new design language and the kind of things that Ice Cream Sandwich to start with and then Jelly Bean enabled, the better improved I think those apps that are built around that framework become. So if you're on the newer version, then you're stoked. The problem is there's still a good number of people hanging back on that gingerbread line, but I mean, what can you say? That number's only going to continue to get smaller. It'll probably not go away entirely for a long time.
That's and going back to not having Android 5.0 unveiled at Google I/O, we're going to just have that much longer with 4.x. So this will, hypothetically, this number should go up every month, right? So,
And, the commitment that Google's given to Nexus devices means that, you've seen the One now, the S4. People are going to continue to get devices that are much more rapidly updated.
Google experience,
and I think that really helps as well.
Hey, Gina, do you have any stats on your app, than the version of users are using on to-do.txt or anything else that you develop?
I do. I'm looking at the console now, and we're on a much smaller scale, obviously, than SwiftKey, but we've got over 60% on 4.0 and up, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Excellent. Love to see
Oh
that.
no, I'm losing you guys again.
Yeah.
It's okay. It froze. We
We got
the
the audio. We just didn't get the video
We'll
there.
monitor it. By the end of the show, Chad's going to be sweating bullets, jumping through these.
We should have
hoops.
like still shots of our, like on the news when
Yeah.
they have somebody reporting from the field.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can still get the audio, but yeah, it could be yeah. So
Exactly,
at least it's a
exactly.
better headshot than just the frozen Gina shot. Yeah.
Well, while Chad works on getting Gina back, let's talk a little bit. I hope she comes back for this discussion because this is kind of cool stuff. Motorola CEO Dennis Woodside revealed official plans during last week's All Things D11 conference to launch the Moto X by the end of the year. He was, quote, pretty confident in the products were going to be shipping in the fall. Moto X would utilize ultra-low power sensors to sense usage context and conserve battery by powering down unneeded components. He also stated Motorola engineers have devised processors that will actually help to save power. So a lot of the discussion kind of revolved around the need to make sure that your device doesn't crap out in normal usage, before you're able to charge it by the end of the day, that it's actually able to last. And I think that's a huge priority for people. They will be built in a 500,000 square foot facility in Texas, U.S. made, 2,000 new jobs. Thank you very much. Broadly distributed, so not sticking entirely to the narrow kind of Verizon distribution model that they've done a lot in the past for the most part. So they're going to be more broadly distributed. Not a Nexus device necessarily, officially, though Motorola has claimed in recent months that the new phase of Moto devices will actually stick pretty close to stock. So I guess that all remains to be seen. He didn't really mention anything as far as that was concerned, but they've made comments alluding to that in the past.
How much anticipation is getting built up for what Motorola is going to deliver? Like, I feel like every time, it's got to be
pretty epic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they've really kind of built. It's been such a long time. Feels like anyways since Google bought Motorola, and there's been so much speculation around the things that they were releasing as, oh well, this isn't obviously anything. Obviously that was too soon to tell. They're blowing through their old stock and their old plans before they get to the truly Google enhanced Motorola stuff. It's got to be pretty compelling.
And it's like we're on a schedule of like every couple of weeks we talk about this and we say and we get nothing new coming from Google or nothing new coming from Motorola. But when they do, it's going to be like, I feel like there's going to be a lot. It's going to be one of those things that's going to be, if it's not awesome, then they're just going to get skewered.
The thing that interests me about it is the US made point, right? Because a ton of the devices that are shipping at the moment are Asian built, and everyone here accepts that. But if there is a genuinely good US built smartphone, is that going to pull consumers across rather than just looking at the features? Is the kind of loyalty going to kick in? And the other thing that's interesting is that they always talk about how Motorola is totally independent from Google in the way that they're run, but there's a lot of very, very significant former Google people who are now running the business.
Well,
and that kind of does make me pretty optimistic about what they're going to build, because they've got a great technology history built in the US with some great new talent in there. It could be really interesting.
Yeah, it's nice to see that's going to be U.S. built. That's kind of gone.
That seems to be kind of their trend, right?
Yeah.
The Pixel U.S. built, I believe, if I remember correctly.
I believe it is too.
The Nexus Q, we know
in San Jose,
how many Nexus Qs were built. Well, okay, maybe not there, but it was the start of a really good trend, and definitely you have to commend. Well, at least if you're in the U.S., you have to commend Google for doing that. So we're still working on getting Gina back. This was one of the stories that she was going to talk about. I'll attempt to do it justice. Basically, Google launching a mobile backend starter, which is essentially a way to kind of, for developers to deploy cloud capabilities, a backend for their apps. They say everything you need to set up that backend for your app without needing to write any backend code. Servers that store your data with App Engine, and a client library and sample app for Android that makes it kind of easy to access that data.
Yeah, it's just another case of what we saw at Google I/O, which is giving these tools for developers to make it that much easier to develop and deploy Android applications. To be able to link into the cloud messaging platform, to the storage stuff, to really leverage all Google's cloud services. One-click deployable kind of app engine. That's awesome. So I mean, it's good for the up-and-coming developers who don't have a
It's great for the Android ecosystem.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is, as you say, entirely around what we heard about Google Cloud messaging, all that kind of stuff at I/O as well. So I would love to get Gina's take on this, being that she's the developer. We'll get her back, and if she has something to say, we can ask her about that. But
first, we gotta do
pay
some
some
work.
bills.
We gotta thank some sponsors here. We want to thank Gazelle for sponsoring this episode of All About Android. So listen, every episode we're talking about the new hotness, the new phones, whether it's the Samsung Galaxy S4 or the HTC One or some other Android phone that you've got your eye on. If you want that new phone, but you're stuck with your current phone, Gazelle is the answer. You can, before you upgrade, you can go to Gazelle and you can check to see the value of your smartphone or gadget and then sell it to Gazelle for cash. It's that simple. That's how it works. Go to Gazelle.com and they make it fast and simple for you to get a quote on your device and then sell it. That's GAZELLE.com. You log in. They've got this great application that allows you to go through, pick your device, tell it the condition of the device, and then it'll give you a quote. The good thing about this is that locks the quote in for 30 days. So that means that if you get that quote and you're like, I'm not sure if I want to sell it or not or whatnot, the offer from Gazelle is locked in for 30 days. So it gives you time to think about it and then to pull the trigger and mail in your phone and get the cash that your device is worth. And once you decide that you want to turn it in, you get paid fast either by check or by PayPal, or you get an extra 5% with an Amazon gift card. I've been using the Amazon gift cards as cash to buy things on Amazon, like trading in stuff and getting those gift cards is awesome. I love
Nice.
it. Because you buy everything on Amazon anyway. You can go buy your new phone on
exactly.
Amazon and get 5% more. So Gazelle's buying back a large selection of tablets now. So in addition to the iPad, you want to get rid of your old iOS device and get a new Android device. You could also sell your older Android tablets, such as the Google Nexus, the Kindle Fire, Microsoft Surface, and the ASUS tablets. So pretty much Gazelle is ready to take anything. So go to Gazelle.com, get an offer for your Samsung, HTC, LG, Motorola, BlackBerry, iPhone, iPad, or any other device out there. They will give you a good quote and give you cash for it. So go to Gazelle.com today, and we thank them for sponsoring this episode.
Excellent. Love Gazelle. They're just a perfect fit for the show, especially.
Yeah.
So thank you, Gazelle, for your support. Let's dive into the hardware.
You got it?
So first up, we had Computex that I think it's still going on anyways. And I woke up Monday morning, and checked my Twitter feed, which is kind of how I monitor kind of Android news and everything. And it was ASUS, or is it ASUS or ASUS? I never know anymore these days. It's very confusing to me. But anyways, they named 11 new products in 30 minutes at their announcement unveiling.
I like the lightning round announcements where it's like, we got 30 minutes. Here's 11 new products. Go. It's like, you want a tablet? You want to?
Yeah, it's interesting. Having said that, it really just, I mean, not related to what we're about to talk about. It really kind of makes it hard from a consumer standpoint to really understand exactly what just happened.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's kind of overwhelming in that regard
it's very
too,
overwhelming.
because you're seeing all this information about CPUs and storage and resolution devices and things like that. So
dizzying.
Yeah, exactly. But so the question is Computex an event for consumers, or is this a way to get the information out there and then get to still do the technology blogs and it'll get out there through a natural way?
Sure.
I just don't understand why such a large pipeline of products get deployed in such a small, in such a small window.
Yeah, when ASUS goes, they go big.
When they're just gaining nothing but momentum with all their stuff. We've got this new tablet here, and it's enormous.
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking before the show. After being so used to the 7-inch tablet form factor,
going back to the 10. Yeah.
Then I get the 10-inch, and it really does just feel gigantic.
Yeah.
I'm just so much more used to the 7-inch. Anyways, this is not one of the devices from Computex. We'll start off with probably the one that got the most headlines. The Transformer Book Trio. They say it's the world's first 3-in-1 mobile device. 3 modes. So it's an Android tablet, it's a Windows 8 laptop, and it's a Windows 8 desktop. So
that's cheating a little.
Yeah?
That's cheating a little. I
I
mean,
don't know. Well, when you consider it's a laptop or a desktop, they think those are two different things, and they are kind of two different things.
I guess. I don't know.
But it's not two different. It's not three.
It's
different
not
OSs.
3 different OSs. Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I use my MacBook as a desktop. I just plug it into a monitor. Like that's that's a desktop. I feel like the line between desktop and laptop has kind of gone away. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So this is a 11.6 inch screen, 1920 by 1080 IPS display. 65 gigs, and maybe I transcribed that wrong, of internal storage, 2 gigahertz dual core Intel Atom Z250 chip running Jelly Bean. It also has a PC station dock containing 4th gen i7 4500U Haswell chip, and separate either 750 gig or 1 terabyte hard drives, and that's running Windows 8. It's not a dual boot setup here. They're kind of running side by side, but they say that...
And they sync the data, right?
Yeah, and they sync the data across. So who knows how smooth and fluid that is.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like more of a publicity stunt than a device that I would actually ever use.
It's like, yeah, hey, here's that thing that you can do. We don't know, like we have a solution. We don't know that there's a problem, but we've got a solution.
I mean, we're ASUS. You're talking about the company that did the pad phone and the phone pad.
I do like the pad phone.
So that's kind of their MO. They're like the Samsung with a little bit of I don't know, a little craziness thrown in there.
Eccentricity
Speaking of the pad phone, they also announced the Phone Pad Note FHD6. It's a smaller 6-inch version of the 7-inch model that they announced at Mobile World Congress a little while back. But it also has a stylus. I think it's the first ASUS phone with a stylus. A bunch of specs there. It's probably not going to come to the U.S. From what I understand, but I guess that remains to be seen. What else was interesting? We have the Transformer Pad Infinity. So this is an upgrade to, I reviewed the Transformer Pad Infinity on Before You Buy and on this show, and I loved it.
Yeah, this is the one that is actually interesting, right? Because the others are a little out there or a little funky, whereas this is like a very
true
high
upgrade to an
awesome tablet that people love.
And that Transformer brand of the tablet is starting to become like a Cadillac of tablets. It's like
it really is.
Transformer. It's like with that champagne metal color.
High quality design. Really solid design. Most of the specs are improved from the previous generation. Tegra 4 system on a chip, 2560 by 1600 display that rivals the Nexus 10 there. Multi-touch trackpad, USB 3 port, as well as an SDXC. I can't get these letters straight. Card reader on the keyboard dock. Q3 launch. No price was announced, but Verge is kind of speculating somewhere around $399 for the tablet, $499 with the dock. Which is a good price. And then finally, we have the Memo Pad FHD 10, as well as the HD 7. The 10 is a 1920 by 1080 screen IPS Intel Atom processor. Comes in 3 colors. If you like blue, white, or pink, you're in luck. On sale in September. No price, but likely you have to imagine it's going to be cheaper than the $400 Transformer Pad Infinity for that 10-inch tablet. And what I'm really realizing as I'm kind of reading this out loud, like this is another Memo Pad 10-inch. They're doing the Samsung thing where they've got like all of these different price points and all of these different sizes. That they're filling up rapidly.
It just reminds me of the way that people get hits through making A/B tests of all of their different versions of their website and putting them on Google and see which ones stick.
See which ones happen.
Just
saturate
see which one sells.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I wonder if that.
Like what Apple do, for example.
Well, yeah, because with hardware, it's easy to do A/B testing with software because it's just pixels and it's just all this stuff. But with hardware, you actually have to manufacture it. So it's interesting to see that they're crazy enough to do this kind of A/B testing with products.
I feel like maybe in 3 or 4 years we'll reach that kind of epiphany where every product is kind of the result of all this. And we'll finally know what sticks.
Yeah.
And I am so happy to announce that I believe we have Gina joining us again on the show.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Yay,
Excellent.
using Google Hangouts. Thank you, Chad. You're a wizard.
Chad is
Sorry
amazing. He continues to be. Chad and Burke are the best.
Yeah. And there's a little pool of sweat on the floor. It's a testament to that.
Chad.
So thank you for getting Gina back. And Gina, thanks for hanging in there.
Sorry about the troubles earlier.
So before we throw to you talking about the HTC One, because I imagine you're going to be very excited to talk about that. Did any of the announcements from Computex from ASUS kind of excite you at all?
No, I'm excited about the HTC One.
Okay, there we go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Dive right in.
Can we do it? So big news this week was that Google Sundar Pichai announced that the HTC One will be available. The Google Edition will be available. The Nexus user experience is what they're calling it. So this is the same deal as the Samsung GS4. This will be an unlocked Android latest Jelly Bean version of the phone available in the Play Store. This will be June 26th. It'll be $599 for the 32 gigabyte version. Like I said, Android 4.2.2, and this will get updates directly from Google. US only, GSM, so it'll be T-Mobile, AT&T, and overseas GSM carriers. So I got really excited about this when I heard about it. I was like, yes, I'm going to get that phone. That's what I want. That's exactly what I wanted, right? Except then We heard like, you're not going to be getting any of the HTC software, which to me is a good thing, right? So I don't want Sense. I don't care about that. But you don't get all the cool camera stuff, right? Zoe's and video highlights, the animated gallery. The HTC One has a lot of cool hardware on it, right? It's got the ultra pixel camera sensor. It's got Beats audio. It's got an FM radio transmitter. It's got an IR blaster on it. A lot of that stuff is not going to work. I shouldn't say that. The Beats audio, the hardware improvements will be available, but there won't be a software switch. It won't be any of the HTC software there to turn it on or turn it off. So I don't know. Now I'm kind of like not sure what I want to do, because it does feel like, hey, you're paying a lot of money for a phone that's not exactly the Nexus experience, because the one has that weird button configuration as well, that's different than the kind of pure Nexus devices, and it's not clear whether or not it's going to take pictures that are as good as the HTC version, with the HTC camera software, to really take advantage of the ultra pixel. But yeah, so there's that. Is anyone else considering buying this, or am I insane? Kevin Purdy said to me, "You're paying $400 for, you could just buy the phone and root it, and you have the same thing."
Well, it's funny because I was just before the show, I was talking to Jason, and that I was suggesting a new phone for my sister, who's got an old HTC phone, and I was trying to steer her towards the HTC One, but she's on Verizon, which we'll get to in a moment. But and I was saying I wish there was a stock kind of, because she was asking what phone do you have, and I was showing her the Nexus 4, and I was saying why I like the stock version of Android versus a loaded one like Samsung and whatnot. But I think it's really interesting to see that the Samsung Galaxy S4 Nexus Edition doesn't seem to have as much locked down as the HTC One, and it makes you question how much of the proprietary software of their platforms, of the Sense platform or the Galaxy stuff, is tied into that hardware versus, and then when stock comes in and they pull all that stuff out, you're feeling like it's a little less than.
It's a trade-off, right? Because if you want the latest version of the platform, and if you're developing whatever, you need that. But a lot of people I know with the One are very happy with the Sense implementation and things like BuzzFeed and some of the other products that are on there. And it gets that stage where you're thinking, what is it really worth it just to get Jelly Bean's latest update?
Right.
3 months ahead of time.
Right. And what is the benefit for you specifically about being truly stock? Is it, when you weigh it against the things that you do want, if you really like the HTC camera app and it does all these great things, would getting an HTC device and throwing an alternative launcher on there because you don't like HTC's launcher, would that be enough? I mean, are you okay with settling for the fact that your settings pane doesn't look like vanilla Android, if that allows you to have some of those software enhancements that you still want access to?
I'm being corrected. I said BuzzFeed, I meant Blink feeds.
Right, yeah.
Top 10 things that the HTC One doesn't have.
BuzzFeed pulled off that content integration pretty nicely, yeah.
So, yeah, it totally comes down to personal preference. It's so funny because like a couple of weeks ago, we're like, man, we really, really want this. And then the more you think about it, once you kind of hear about it and some of the trade-offs, then you really have to kind of second guess it and wonder if it's truly worth spending that kind of money for something that out of the box isn't going to give you even the capability of going back to having those options.
But I think with these two, with this Galaxy at I/O and now this at D11, it's interesting to see that Nexus experience. Remember, it was just it used to be just the one phone, and now they're kind of expanding.
Yeah, because there were those rumors maybe a year ago about them broadening it out. And
exactly.
No one really knew what that would mean.
Yeah,
multiple devices.
We're getting there slowly.
Blah blah blah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so then you got to wonder what's going to happen with Motorola. To go back to Motorola, when they do the Moto X, so they start innovating on the hardware side. Will you only be able to get that in the Nexus version of the Moto? Yeah, so it can go both ways. So,
I mean, it's a shame that they don't just make apps that allow you to use those hardware features and put them in Google Play, because then you could just download the stuff that was relevant to what you really enjoy.
Right, but that's competitive edge.
Yes.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, right.
If you're using their device anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
If the hardware integration is what counts, then
Yeah, I mean, HTC could do what many developers do, unfortunately, which is not allow everyone to download their app on their device because it isn't compatible with it.
Yeah.
So, anything else on the HTC front, Gina?
Well, yes, this is the kind of related. So it sounds like HTC is considering releasing a vanilla Android ROM for existing One owners, right? So you don't have to pay the super crazy price tag, and maybe you could just install this vanilla ROM, yourself.
Wow.
HTC intimated to The Verge, so I don't know what that means.
I know, I don't know what that means.
They're working to port over this ROM used in the version for existing owners, and it's expected the installation will take a bit of work. But so, I mean, it sounds like you're going to have to do the rooting or the modding that you'd have to do anyway, right? So yeah, we'll see what happens. Oh, the other bit of HTC One news is kind of interesting. Verizon took to Twitter and said that the HTC One will be available for Verizon in the next couple of months. No hard date, but this summer we'll be seeing the HTC One on Verizon.
Yep. So my recommendation to my sister was to wait for the HTC One, because I figure I like that phone.
It seems to be the front runner.
Really,
everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
And if you're waiting a couple of months for the HTC One, here we go in this game again.
Yeah.
We're gonna suddenly start hearing about the Moto X phone.
Oh yeah, it's true.
And then it might be wait for the Moto X phone.
Right.
Only because I'm always looking for an excuse to play the "What Would Sundar Say?"
Oh yeah. What would Sundar say?
Yeah. What would Sundar say? When some wondered if the HTC One Google Edition might signal the end of the Nexus program, Sundar at D11 said, "The idea with Nexus is to push on hardware as well, so that will continue." So there you go. All right.
Yes.
We got that in there.
There you go.
Check mark that
Thank
off
you.
the list.
Last time I was on the
Thank
show,
you,
was what would
Jason.
Andy say?
I know. Hey, we evolve.
Oh yeah.
As Android evolves, so do we.
This story though really makes you think about what makes the Nexus experience, right?
Yeah.
Like, is there a difference between the Nexus and the Nexus experience? Like for the first time, I was like, oh, this actually is about hardware. Like, are those buttons really going to annoy me? They might. I don't know. So it's interesting to see people kind of say, well, this isn't real Nexus. This is a Nexus-like experience. That's not the same.
Now there's the designation of Nexus and Google Experience.
Yes, there is a subtle difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. So a little bit more hardware news. Sometimes left in the dust of Samsung and some of the other ASUS and some of the other hardware manufacturers. Toshiba, still kicking, trying to get into the tablet market. They announced 3 new 10-inch tablets recently that are somewhat interesting. The Toshiba Excite Pure, and this is a lower-end tablet. It's got a 1280 by 800 resolution, running a Tegra 3, 1 gig of memory. It's launching with Android 4.2. It's got a 16 gig model with a micro SD card expansion and a 3-megapixel rear camera. It's got a micro HDMI port and will only be $299.99. So a nice low-end, low-price 10-inch tablet, which is interesting. Then they've got the Excite Pro, which seems to be kind of pushed towards gamers and more higher-end users. It's got a 2560 by 1600 pixel pure resolution that matches the Nexus 10 and ASUS's upcoming Transformer Pad refresh. It's running the Tegra 4, 2 gig of RAM, 32 gigabyte storage plus micro SD, 8 megapixel rear camera, micro HDMI, and Harman Kardon stereo speakers. Also running Android 4.2, and this will cost you $499.99. And then finally, they've got the Excite Write, WRITE, which is the same as the Pro, but with an added digitizer and stylus, and the resolution is 1280 by 800, and it's got 1024 point pressure stylus True Pen that is not dockable, and this will be $599.99. So clearly Toshiba's kind of looking at Samsung and saying, oh, we can do a pen too, we can do a stylus as well.
Yeah, and the resolution on the right, wow, what was it? I meant to mark it down there and I missed it, but it's still
1280 by 800.
It's 1280. No, I thought it was. No, it's the same as the Pro. Okay, so the Excite Pro is 2560 by 1600. By all accounts, a very high resolution display. Here was my ding on the Note 10.1 when I used it, was that the display was so low, and a lot of people were like, well, that's what they had to do because of the Wacom tablet overlay. It doesn't allow for it. Here, those of you who are into the digitizer and stylus thing, here's your solution. Get your really HD display, still with that Wacom capability. I'd be very curious to play around with this and see how it works, but it sounds really compelling, particularly if that's the thing that you look for in a big device like that. So.
So you look out for those if you're a Toshiba fan. And then, as we were joking about before the show started, apparently after my little brush with Google Glass, I'm now on the Google Glass beat.
Well, this time.
I don't know. I don't know if we want to design a bumper for this or not, Glass Watch or whatnot. But so 2 interesting bits that came out of the glass hole. Glass holes on parade. So I know, and a large reaction I've gotten from my personal friends and when I've gone out and stuff like that from my Google Glass kind of thing has been some of the security concerns and I heard the bathroom thing that Jason, that you were complaining about. One of my friends was like, what if somebody comes in the bathroom with one of those and that sort of thing. But Google did reach out and publicly say that they're going to be banning facial recognition apps on Google Glass. They're saying that it won't allow apps or services that perform facial recognition, but the ban is called symbolic, and other folks in the know expect it to return. So really, citing the privacy concerns, they're saying that that they're going to ban any sort of facial recognition applications, but you got to wonder how long will that ban continue?
And does that really protect you? I mean, if you're worried about someone taking a photo of you or someone recording a video, the facial recognition point is kind of moot. Really.
Yeah. And then finally, the other story, which is that
best name of a product ever.
Yeah, pretty much. But with the I can't even say it.
Yeah, it's okay.
But Google, thanks to an app getting released that, as I'll give CNET the credit, an app that rhymes with bits and glass. Google has now officially said that any sort of pornography or sexually explicit content in apps are not welcome on Google Glass and will be banned against the developer policies, specifically prohibiting content that contains nudity, graphic sex acts, or sexually explicit material, which begs the question, what's the point?
Yeah.
You've got this great thing. Why not?
Well, okay. So then peel it back a little bit. Are they banning the fact that they're giving you access to an app that allows you to watch porn on that tiny little screen?
And they're
not banning the fact that you could use the glass for the other.
But it has a
exactly.
Some would argue more compelling use of glass.
The specific uses, the explicit glassware comes from My Candy or Me Candy, that app? Which makes an alternate Android app store that is more adult friendly and has more sexually explicit offerings.
Sure.
And basically it's naughty content. So it's content that you can interact with and use. But you got to wonder what the next step is. And,
they let Robert Scoble publish that photo of himself wearing it in the shower. So surely, I mean,
that's pretty explicit.
How did that get past?
Exactly. But it'll be interesting to see what the kind of passive kind of observing, using content versus creating content.
Well, this is the interesting too, is that Google is being extremely restrictive with Glass now, and it's completely different to Android. Android is the open platform.
Is it though? Because when you take a look at the developer kind of rules, I mean, there are rules that explicitly say the Play Store will not release apps that give access to adult content. Now you could peel that.
That's why Me Candy exists.
Well, exactly. And that's also why, of course, it's the same with Android devices. There are ways to sideload onto Glass if that's, and that's probably the
I guess it's just like the broader thing, the banning of this, the banning of that.
Oh, it's very Apple-esque.
The banning of location data being sent automatically.
Well, and because what I think the problem is that this is such a society-changing device, or such a conventional wisdom, kind of people are scared of it, so they're going to be more conservative to get it to adoption. Just like the facial recognition, in 3 years from now, will that still be the case?
Sure.
So
I don't know. We'll have the death of privacy by then.
Yeah, well, I still think I think privacy is overrated, but that's a whole other topic for another time for me to get yelled at by the chat room. But, I just do. I'm not that interesting. No one is.
All I can see is Justin Bieber mentioned, so I looked away.
I mean, if we're all in on Google products to a certain degree, you kind of have to have that mindset, right?
Right, yeah, no.
To get the full benefit of Google products, you kind of have to expect that your privacy is
when I say privacy is overrated, I don't mean social security number or bank information or anything like that. Those are all kind of secure. But in terms of what I'm searching for, content, we've already gone on record, when I was on Twitter, we were saying how Google now gives a great experience because it knows so much about me. And so I'm okay with giving that up, but I do think that they're coming down more on the conservative side, but I think with good reason, because I think people are legitimately there are people unlike us who are legitimately scared of this technology.
They're looking at what Apple does, and they're sort of playing in that rule book.
Exactly.
A little bit.
And the unfortunate thing is, it's a lot of misunderstanding about what the technology actually does. People think that if they see you wearing glass,
you're recording
that
them
you're
and-
recording at all time and broadcasting it to the world, and that all this stuff is happening that isn't happening unless you explicitly make it happen. There's a lot of uncertainty around
okay,
it.
Glass, take a picture. Right?
Yeah,
So
right.
Yeah.
But they don't know. So, all right, well, let's take another break and thank another one of our sponsors, Umano. It's awesome to welcome back to the show Umano as a sponsor. Umano is actually a really cool app, and it's perfect for folks like probably all of us here who we're interested in following the news and following the trends and stories that hit the web and everything, but we might not always have a lot of time to read it ourselves. Well, Umano is an app that you can get both on iOS as well as Android devices. You can find it in the Play Store, and it's free to install. And basically, there are trained voice artists, professional voice artists, who read a variety of trusted sources, articles that might fall in line with a category that you find interesting. So there's a ton of stuff in there about technology, science, just all the categories that you would expect to find. So, you could be on the bus, in the car driving. This is when I used it, which was, in the car driving. I can't read, but it's basically kind of its own weird little radio station that plays these articles, but it's not a robot reading to you. It's a real professional voice artist reading the article to you, and it sounds great. It's read by great people with great voices. Articles cover a wide spectrum. They can be filtered based on subject matter and themes. New articles and fresh content are added every day, and new voices. Almost every article that you listen to, chances are it's going to be a different voice reading each different one. So you can't, there won't be one voice that you just get sick of hearing. You can stay informed on the go. It's perfect for things like workout, commute, housework, pretty much any time if you're just lazy on the couch and you don't want to use your eyeballs. It's available for free on both iOS and Android devices, as I said. Umano is actually Italian for human, so it makes perfect sense. So here's what you can do. You can download Umano for free from the App Store or from Google Play. That's Umano, U-M-A-N-O, Umano. For more information, feel free and visit umanoapp.com. And I highly recommend it. I can fire it up here real quick. Right? I have it on this tablet, and I can never remember where the power button is on this tablet. It's kind of wacky. Okay, here we go. So this is, I don't know if you have that, Chad. This is, it's blown up a little bit, but I'll go ahead and hit play. Disruptions, the echo chamber of Silicon Valley.
Companies best appreciated by other people who live and breathe technology. The echo chamber of Silicon Valley. Posted at bits.blogs.nytimes.com.
And so,
engineers tend to
they'll read through the article, and it will queue up another article at the end. Just a huge list of things right here. I'm just kind of looking at a general list. They're using the new design language on the side pull-out menu, so great Android design right there. And you just got all these different categories and popular category for things that people have liked a lot through the app and everything. So it's just a really great app, and you can favorite and just let it kind of take over for you while you're driving. Highly recommend it. UmanoApp.com. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of All About Android. Umano, you guys are great. Great app. It would win in the arena. All right.
It would.
It would. All right. Speaking of great apps, let's dive into our app segment. So, who's digging the new Gmail design?
How about that? Finally, a rumored rollout, right?
Yeah, hopefully I won't reveal too much. I'll pull it up.
Have you gotten it on your device? I haven't gotten it on Android yet. I've gotten it on the web.
Got it on my device, in air quotes. There were ways to sideload it, and I'm very impatient. So I sideloaded it.
I have not sideloaded it yet,
You're taking one for the team. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Put it on there and hope for the best. So I know. Meanwhile, I'm messing with Gmail. That's really smart, Jason. So if you want to take my tablet real quick, Chad, I can just kind of show it off just real quick. Basically, you get these. If you select to do it, you get this kind of sectioned off inbox with primary, social, promotions, and updates. There's a few more that you can add to there. You can also opt for your priority inbox if that's important to you. But they've just kind of changed a lot of it. You see a lot of changes on the phone design as well. And it does this kind of automatic filtering into these different categories, which I was a little leery of at first because I wasn't sure how accurate it was going to be, and I already had filters built for some of these things. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with it.
Yeah.
It does what you want it to do.
Oh, wow.
It does what I want it to do anyway. So,
So you're happy.
so I'm happy, and I got rid of the old filters.
Is this the Sparrow team that have been working on it?
Oh,
That's I thought the same thing because Sparrow was that app that everybody loved and they bought and it went away and everyone's like, why won't you support it anymore? You got to assume it's that talent.
So it was about a year ago that
Yeah,
happened, and they
yeah.
were talking about it being a new Gmail project.
Yep,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I just really like the graphic design. I think
Yeah.
the way that they've taken some of the sort of core Android design themes and Holo and all that iconography and things. It really looks nice.
yeah. I mean, that's another big one right there. Let me see if I can fire it up on my phone here real quick and show off.
I mean, it's a paradigm change. I mean, like it's a, like they spend all that time pushing the priority inbox and all that sort of stuff. And this evolves it.
It's a whole different thing. I gave it the old college try. I've had it enabled for 6 days, and I finally disabled it last night and went back to priority inbox. I just was missing too much stuff. I wasn't looking at any tabs other than primary. But I had gotten really used to the priority inbox workflow, and I had smart labels enabled, which is the Gmail lab that was kind of the predecessor to these tabs. So I have stuff labeled, social updates and promotions and those things, but I just found that I was missing stuff that was too important. I had, I participate in a lot of mailing lists, for example, my open source projects, and those were getting shuttled over to forums, and I was missing stuff. So yeah, I reverted back to priority inbox. I can see how it's really useful. I got so into the priority inbox flow, I wanted it back.
Yeah.
So
I can understand that. I actually, I think I put it on Twitter. The new categories is perfect for my personal email. Priority inbox, I have to have it on my work email because it's part of how I make sure that things stay current, fresh in my mind.
And I can't even use priority inbox. I just panic that I'm going to miss something. So I just stick to classic at the moment. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're old school, Joe.
I am
Super old school. Yeah.
I'm a
Like,
control freak. I need to be see everything
You got to
all the
get
time.
everything. Yeah.
Just a few other things that does pull down to refresh, which is pretty sweet.
Nice.
Obviously, that left side navigation, relocated action buttons when you're looking at emails. A lot of that stuff was at the bottom. Now it's at the top. I'm not sure how I feel about that because it makes it a little bit harder to do one-handed navigation. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the redesign, and I think you guys will be too. If you want to enable it on the web and you don't want to sideload on your device, but you still want to kind of check it out, there's a little how-to on Droid Life, and I'll put it in the show notes at twit.tv/AAA, and you can activate it. It's pretty easy to activate.
it's really interesting to see how the Gmail team is going to handle enabling this on the web and making what is the true inbox that Gmail is going to run, and you want a consistent experience from the desktop to the application. So be curious to see, because they kind of forked away from the web with this app version. So, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not right or it's not,
It could have just been coincidence, or it could have been a cool little thing that they timed, and now they're like, you know what, that's not important anymore.
Yeah, who knows? Interesting. Well, speaking of Google and redesigns, Google I/O, we got a little hint of a new Play. The Play Store just keeps evolving and keeps changing and that sort of thing. So the current new Play Store version is currently in beta testing within the walls of Google. And we can pull up kind of example what it looks like, but it's continuing the evolution of the Google Play Store to really, push the media stuff as opposed to just apps, and to, add more iconography and the colors and that sort of thing. And Chad, I don't know if you can pull up the snapshot of it. Yeah. So currently now it is live for members, for employees of Google to test and give that feedback. Again, it's recognizable from what we've seen, but a subtle evolution, a little more graphical. It'll be curious to see how it evolves across the different, whether tablets or phones and that sort of thing as they inherit it. But that Google Play Store keeps evolving.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah,
it's come a long way.
Yep. Cool.
And the evolution doesn't just happen on the front end, which is
nice.
As
right?
the developer advocate.
Well, that was the big thing at I/O that we talked about was that all those great the testing tools and all that, and then to be able to do beta tests and stuff like that. I mean, I imagine
it's really cool. I mean, at the moment we're trying to figure it out because we built our own community, and having to migrate all of our VIP users over to a G+ community is actually kind of a pain in the ass. So we're still trying to explore whether or not we're going to use that feature, but I just think the commitment and the kind of, you know, the frequent updates and everything is really a change from sort of 2 or 3 years ago when you kind of just were operating on your own kind of
Yeah, well, it seemed like they were going so fast and loose, and it was kind of a little bit of a Wild West, kind of just like putting stuff out there and see what they can do. And now it's like, okay, like that's what, going back to Google I/O, I know we talked about it to death, but I just love that it was, no, I'm with you, but I love that it was shoring up the, the developer support to make it really solid, you know, and that's something, a lot of times that back end stuff gets forgotten about, you know, so.
And now it was kind of the focus.
Yeah,
entirely,
exactly.
So that's great. Gina, you have an email that seems perfectly timed for today.
We do. We have an email from Noah who asks very simply, why is there no option for emoji on Android? Just curious. Also, is SwiftKey going to implement emoji in their fantastic keyboard? Thanks, Noah. So it turns out that we've got someone who can answer that SwiftKey question right here. But let me first say, in Android 4.1, there absolutely is an emoji keyboard. You just have to enable it. So in order to do that, if in Android 4.1 and bigger, larger, greater, later, I guess, go into settings, tap language and input. And then if you tap on Android keyboard settings, tap add-on dictionaries, and then you'll see a dictionary there listed, emoji for English words. Tap on that, tap on the install button, and that's it.
I can see everyone running to do it right now.
Yeah,
it's a revolution.
I was doing it before the show. I was like very excited about it. But what's weird is that once you enable it, it's not really clear. I didn't know a whole lot about emoji. You have to kind of know the words that'll bring it up. So, you know, woman, man, telephone, soccer, and then in your keyboard suggestions, you'll see the emoji will be one of the options.
So it's not even just because, I mean, what made emoji so popular was the iPhone integration, right? Where it's just a quick switch.
Tap, so
it comes up as a suggestion.
Oh, interesting.
If you type out a word, it's one of the suggested things. Yeah, so we are actually working on it. And part of the reason why we haven't done it yet is because there was no easy standard for rolling it out. So we had folks at Facebook Messenger say that their integration was balked with our product. And then we looked at the core, you know, Android level integration, and it was all just a bit of a mess. So that's why we didn't sort of just do it overnight. But we have someone full-time looking at it right now, and we're committed to bringing it out because it's so important. You know, kids everywhere are using it. I'm using it when I can.
People love the emoji, man. They love it.
Yeah.
I just emoji. It's lost on me.
It's just fun.
Well, it's been lost on you because we haven't had it on our phones.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
It's definitely a part of, you know, especially that there are messaging apps on Android that do have, you know, more liberal smileys and icons, and you know, there should be a standard across the board, and now there kind of is one emerging, we think. So,
like I say, there was nothing worse than getting a text from an iPhone user and getting those boxes. And I literally have like a group of friends that do speak in icons, and I'd get them, and I'd have to be like, ha ha, like I just have to pretend like I knew what it was. You know? I hope this wasn't me.
There's something cool inside the box. You don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think I'm right in saying that from Jelly Bean onwards, it will recognize that.
Yes, it does. Right? No, so Jelly Bean onwards, we could see it, but actually using it was a bit of a challenge. But now, once you get that installed, then you can, and you know. But but yeah, no, I'm pre 4.1 when you just get the box, and it'd be infuriating. And I would never say anything because I don't want to be like, oh well, you're on Android. Like we don't want to admit our, you know.
Do you guys ever get emails from people with Outlook where you just get the long J instead of a smile?
J?
Is that Outlook? Yeah. Oh, okay, I just thought the J was like some new smile thing now. That's what it is?
Yeah. It's just, you know, if they can't even get it right with Outlook to Gmail, then just imagine how complex it is with mobile.
Oh, I'm sure. You just blew my mind. Now I know what that J means. I just thought it was like something I missed.
And because that J represents the smiley, now it's going to reverse eventually.
Yeah. Smile not cool if you don't use the J.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Too funny. All right. So SwiftKey will have it soon. So
I mean, we're totally committed to doing what our users want.
Will you go on the record with a launch date?
Never. I'd get fired.
It's a good marketing guy. There we go.
Get fired. No, I'm impressed.
In the near future, be vague about it. Down the road. Yeah.
We're committed.
Yeah.
There we go. That's it right there. Let's take one final moment to thank our other sponsor of today's episode, 99 Designs, which connects the world with great graphic designers to create fast, affordable graphic designs. 99 Designs is really cool. Here's how it works. Basically, you tell 99 Designs what you need. Dozens of designers from the 99 Designs community will actually submit quality designs created just for you. They give, you give actually the designers your feedback, help them refine their designs, and then you select and pay for your favorite. They provide more than 210,000 graphic designers worldwide for your project. World-class customer support, 24/7, phone, email, chat, it's all there. Complimentary design consultations with the SF design team for your branding needs. 100% money-back guarantee. Just a ton of design categories that you can work with. Logo design, web design, digital marketing collateral, print marketing collateral, apparel design, T-shirts, hoodies. I'll talk more about that in a second. Mobile app design. If you've got a great idea for an app and design just isn't your thing, go on 99 Designs and find a designer who's thrilled to work with you on bringing your idea to reality. So you can start right now for as low as $199 for your own custom graphic design. Visit 99designs.com/AAA and you'll get a $99 power pack of services for free. Power pack actually gives you more designer time and attention. They'll bold, highlight, and feature your design project on 99 Designs Marketplace, and you'll get nearly twice as many designs. You can also call 800-513-1678, designated for the TWIT listeners here. That's 800-513-1678, and I'll say it really slow, 800-513-1678. And you can imagine like that number flashing on the screen, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Or you can visit 99designs.com/AAA. That's probably what you're going to do today. Before we move out of this, I just want to show off. We used actually at TWIT 99 Designs to help commission TWIT logo designs for a marketing campaign, which, Chad, correct me if I'm wrong, is it finished now? Or is it still going?
No. We finished the. We chose this T-shirt.
Cool.
We did a Teespring, and now they've gotten their T-shirts and are wearing
I've seen them coming through.
Right.
That's
Tweets
awesome.
of people wearing their shirt. Is the shirt still available?
No, because it was a Teespring thing.
Yeah,
so
it was a short-term thing.
It was but you can see. I mean, we got tons and tons of amazing designs. I mean, look at these.
That's
things.
awesome.
I mean, they're just so cool.
And the designers get to work on their chops too, because they're just putting together these things, and one or a few or however many that you want to select can be selected for your campaign. It's just a really cool, interesting service and a great way to connect. People like me who design's not my
just because
thing.
you have Photoshop doesn't mean you can design. And
exactly.
And look at that, so many great, like that logo is just so much fun to play with. It looks like everybody's having, they did some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, lots and lots and lots. And there was no commitment, to make sure that we chose a specific one. We chose the one we like. I know, I love this one.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right. But yeah, I mean, just real fun, real good stuff.
Cool stuff. So you can start your campaign. Go to 99designs.com/AAA and get some awesome designers working for you. We thank 99 Designs for their support of All About Android and the TWIT network. Thank you, guys. Really awesome. All right.
It's my favorite part of the show, isn't it?
Woo, yeah. Woo. Getting all worked up just thinking about it. Let's jump into the arena.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
I would like to clarify that the arena isn't my favorite part of the show. It's just that bumper.
Oh,
so as far as I'm concerned, we're done.
Favorite bit done.
Yeah, exactly.
See you next week.
It's all downhill from there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's the climax for me in the show. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully we can change that and make this arena
a
even
climactic
awesomer.
experience.
Maybe not awesomer, but as awesome.
Wait, I need my Google Glass for my climatic experience.
Moving on. Last week we covered 3 apps. They were all pretty great. Arcus Weather came out on top, 44% of the votes. Malyuba, good job, Gina, by the way.
Nice.
Excellent
Thank
score
you.
there. Malyuba came in second at 41%, and SnapP at 15%. Apparently, people just don't have the need to do what SnapP was about. I thought it was a cool way to do it. There are a lot of apps.
Not every app finds an audience. And sometimes our audience needs might be different than someone
They might
else.
have a different solution.
Exactly.
If so, I want to know what it is.
Yeah.
So there we go. So this week we have 4 apps in the arena, and we're doing great on time, which I'm really happy about. So we can spend some time going through these because there's some really good ones in here. Starting with mine.
I'm very
streak.
curious about this one.
All right. So this actually is an app that started on iOS and finally got ported over to Android. But I'm going to highlight, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I love having apps in the arena that start on Android and are high quality right out of the gate and stuff like that. That isn't always the case. Ultimately, I just want the Play Store to be filled with tons of really great apps. And this is one of them, I think. It also happens to be a kids-focused app. So a lot of you are probably going to tune out a little bit. But I hope you don't, because it's kind of fun, even for grown-ups, as I found out as I've been playing with it. It's called Toca Hair Salon 2. That's right, hair salon. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in if the tablet will catch up with me here. Oh, I see.
It was so good they made a second version of it.
Yeah, they made a first version of it on iOS, I believe. And then a second version, obviously, was released on both iOS as well as Android. So the thought here, are you getting sound, by the way?
I'm still getting Umano behind.
Oh, did I leave that playing? It thinks I'm driving right now.
There we go. Thank you.
There we go. Sorry about that. See, it's really good. It'll keep reading to you even when you turn off the screen.
Even when you don't want to know it anymore.
Look, I'm out of the car. All right, so Toca Hair Salon 2. So we'll go ahead and go in here. So this is all about hairstyling and cutting hair, and it's a really good, engaging, well-designed app for kids. And I've just had a great time playing around with it too. Let's see here. We'll go into this guy right here because he's got facial hair, and that's kind of fun to play with. So you've got all these different characters that you can select. And we'll go ahead and pull this up. You have the guy. He walks in, sits down, ready for a haircut. So you see down at the bottom here, you got all these tools, right? So I can get the comb and brush his hair out.
Nice.
And then if I want to cut it off, I can grow it.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
Right? So I could shave it, which, maybe what I want to do is cut it a little bit more, use this, and then shave it, right? So you can do all that kind of fun stuff there. You can I don't know what you call that, but
is that a straightener or a curler?
Curl it.
There you go.
Right. You can make him Chad.
Oh, you gotta go that one. That red.
This, I don't know. There is no true
there's
red.
no
That's
true
like
Chad red.
If I had kids, I'd be downloading this right now.
Oh no, totally. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, nice. You can kind of give him a Hitler mustache.
We can go ahead and take that off.
There we go. There we go. That's much better. That looks cooler.
You can dress the guy up if you want to give him a little bow tie. All these things, you can make them larger. You can rotate them. Oh, we'll put.
Is that a bow tie?
Oh, there you go. It's a bow. Yes, not a bow tie.
Oh, he likes it.
He likes it a lot.
I like how he's reacting in kind.
Yeah. So we got glasses. Yeah. Right. Oh. I'm trying to do this at an angle. So. Okay. It's not. Maybe they're not straight, but whatever. You get the picture. We'll go over here. We got the colors. You can blow dry it out. You can shampoo it, so I can get rid of all the color, right? So I shampoo him, and then I take the water over here and rinse it off. And now his hair's wet, so now I got to blow dry it. And then I can dry it off. It's just I can't help it. I love this thing. I'm gonna play it probably as much as my 3-year-old daughter because it's hilarious. You can change the background, and then when you have the look that you like, you take a picture of it.
So awesome.
And
there you go. And
there you go. Forever and ever, I can hold on to that guy.
So then you could take this to the hair salon and be like, make me look like this.
I want this.
Yeah. It's a good rapid prototyping for your haircut. There you go. Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. That's as simple as that. There's 6 different. Hold on.
There you go.
Okay, don't move. Oh, I'm moving it. Never mind. I forgot. I'm the one that's holding the tablet, and I'm trying to like.
It's freaking me out. Stop.
Okay. Perfect.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Toca Hair Salon 2. It just launched not too long ago. It's at a sale price, 66% off. So it's 99 cents right now. So if you want to get it right now. It's $1. I mean, can you pass it up, really? And if you don't have kids, can you pass it up, really? Because it's a lot of fun. Toca Hair Salon 2. I hope that they release more because they have a lot of really interesting apps along these lines on iOS, and it's pretty great. All right, so that's mine. Ron, what you got?
Well, I figured after a 2-week absence of being in the arena, I needed to come back with something that makes no sense whatsoever. And I think I found it. Thankfully, it's a free app. So riddle me this. Have you ever been using your tablet or your phone And have you ever thought to yourself, and I know we've all thought it, so don't be afraid to admit it, to join with me. Have you ever thought, these icons are too small? I wish I could make these icons bigger. All the time, right? Yeah. All the time. Well, luckily, there's a solution now for you. It is called Giganticon. And it is free in the App Store. And basically what it does, and it's really neat what it does. So it's not an actual app. It's an app, but it's not like an app that you launch. Actually, what it installs a base of widget support. And it allows you to select an app from your device, and then it polls the Google Play Store and downloads the largest resolution icon that is there, and then you are able to resize it whatever size you like. I'll show you how. So here we are on my Nexus 7. You see I got a big blank screen, and I really like, let's say I really like Google Music, and that's all I want to do. I want a huge icon for it. So I can go to my widgets, and I can scroll through all my widgets, and when I get to the G's, you will see here Giganticon, and he's a little angry little dude. And so I'm going to click Giganticon, and actually, no, I got to tap and hold it and pull it out. And so you just drop it on there. And then it now asks me what app do I want to make a Giganticon for. And it's going through, it's scanning all my apps right now, hypothetically, as it goes to white screen. There we go. So you can choose from, these are all the programs that I have. And I'll go for something a little more colorful. I'll go for Star Wars Angry Birds. Let's say I'm a huge Star Wars Angry Birds fan. All right. And so there is a large icon, but it gets better. So if you tap it, it just works and it just launches the game as you would expect it to. It launches any app or whatnot. Let me go back. But if you feel as if the native, and for some reason, there we go, feels if the native, it feels if the native default size isn't big enough, all you got to do is long tap, and then you get the little 4 dots. And this is one of the things where I was surprised no one's done this yet, where taking the new functionality that's available in Android and applying it to the icons. So there is an enormous icon.
Well, and I think if you would have tried to have done this on an older version, it would have not been nearly as good because it would just be blurry. Now
right, yeah. But what's interesting is that it's not taking the icon from the app itself. It's actually, you need to be connected, and it's polling Google Play and downloading the web version, and all the improvements that Google's made to the Play Store has given, you need a bigger icon, and it's kind of neat. Now, all kidding aside, when you think about the actual practical applications for this, if you, for some reason, if you have a child and you only want them to play games on it or something like that, you can just put one icon per home screen, and it becomes ridiculously easy to use. It is also like, and here is the kicker, and here's the home run swing that is going to make me win the arena. Mm-hmm. How many years have you seen in Walgreens or CVS or whatnot, or Costco, the remote control with the big buttons?
Yeah.
Right?
A long, long time.
As we get older, our eyes get worse. You can't see things as small. So if you have a senior citizen in your family or someone who wants to, utilize the tablet, you can make a big icon and they go, okay, this is mail. This is the browser, so Giganticon can do that.
Chad, was that the extent of the video?
Yes.
5 seconds. Their demonstration video is like, here's an icon.
On their Google Play page, it's just like, listen, 20 seconds. You got a small icon? Just make it a big icon. Done.
That's it.
Great for baby boomers.
Yeah. Excellent. So there you go. So Giganticon, it's free in the Google Play Store. It makes no sense at all, but hey, those are the best kind of applications.
Yeah.
So there you go, Giganticon.
I was annoyed that I had to upload a 1024 by 1024 icon to the Play Store, but now that I know about Giganticon, I feel much better about it.
I was gonna say you're annoyed, and I'm thankful. So thank you, Gina, for uploading that. So that's very good. Yeah. So.
Giganticon or Giganticon.
Yes. It's free. Come on, it's free. Yeah. So.
Excellent. Joe is up next, and you have an app that I think we've all kind of heard about the last couple of days.
This was such an easy choice because it was like a big news story, and it's like you're going through all these things thinking, like, what am I actually going to profile? And here is Jason playing with Toca Hair Salon 2, which I just posted a second ago. Isn't that fun? The thing that annoys me is I can't figure out how to mute
Vine,
it.
by the way.
Yeah,
it's for the audio
Vine,
listeners.
which is an app by Twitter. It's been around.
You should have a volume control on your phone.
It doesn't. It's on silent.
Oh yeah. Oh really? It's overriding the phone.
It is.
Oh
so
wow.
Maybe that's the first bug that we can report. But yeah, so you just get this idea of it being very much the Vine that you've read about. Now, if you're an Android user, you can have a go at it, and it's it's basically a fun way to record little snippets of video, put them all together, and post them to your Twitter. 6 seconds of video in total. This is when I came into the studio earlier. I did a couple of shots and walking around. It's very much that app. Now, one of the big controversies is it's not feature complete in terms of being up to par with iOS. So you can't use the front-facing camera. You can't pull in hashtags and contact names. And it takes kind of a long time to process all of the frames, which is the kind of annoyance. But once you finally do it, it's pretty fun, and it's good fun to browse through as well. So
this is an app that I've complained about verbally a lot because it drives me crazy that they launched it iOS only and didn't launch it on Android as well, and that it's taken this long. And it's basically it was Instagram all over again.
I mean, but in this day and age, you kind of expect better, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're really cool, you launch on Android first. But I think it's them playing catch up. It's probably one of the apps that we had to mention this week, so I thought I'd choose it.
Definitely.
And it is fun. I mean, there's a ton of great content on there. It's kind of...
It's funny because we joke, we talked about it on previous episodes, like it kind of drives me crazy because of the audio like you're talking about. So you've got this 6 second of video, and if you have audio on, it just runs in a loop. And so like if you leave it on, you hear this talking or noise or whatnot, and it seems really fun. But it also that's the other thing too, is like when it launched yesterday, it was just impossible to use. It's taking forever to load the videos because an influx of users were coming in. And
I've just got like a loading cycle. It's not perfect, but I imagine they're going to iterate pretty hard.
I mean, some people do really creative stuff with it. I mean, I got there's a whole kind of Vine, kind of development. So I mean,
created all of these how-to 6 seconds how-tos.
That's amazing.
That's very cool.
That's so cool. But
the how-to tag is my favorite, I think.
Which one?
The how-to tag, the how-to hashtag.
Oh, cool.
Has a lot of good ones. Selfies, not so much.
Yeah,
just my taste.
So at least Android users can access all that content now from their devices, if nothing else.
Create new content. I'm intrigued by it. It I'm sure will end up being the same. People have a hard time with other people comparing it to Instagram because it's kind of, but
it's Instagram
not,
for video.
Yeah, which it's not really. It's kind of like Instagram in the sense that Instagram was iOS and then unleashed on Android, and there was an outcry of oh no, you're opening the party, and then a year later, I'm sure Instagram is really, really happy that they're on Android right now.
Yeah,
it'll be the same for
a lot of users.
Vine.
A lot of users. I mean, like I'm curious, and now I'll be curious to see what the content Android. Remember the Instagram Android backlash when they're like, oh, now we're going to have all crappy photos because Android phones have crappy phones and that sort of thing. Yep. And I've gotten a little bit of that from the Vine users. Not as bad as Instagram.
It's an exclusive party, and now it's not.
And now it's open.
Your Vines are so pedestrian, Ron.
I know, exactly. Well, what's funny is that now I've had the app for 2 days and I haven't made one yet because I was going to make one of like making tea this morning or whatever, but I was just like, I don't have anything interesting enough to do it yet.
I guess if you're a kid, it'd be fun because you get like a Saturday afternoon, you just start making like
that's the thing.
Yeah,
I mean, like I remember being a kid with a camcorder and 2 VCRs trying to edit a video, and it was just like awful. Remember the tracking was bad, stuff like that. This is like, admittedly, it's very rudimentary, sequential. It's not really editing, but it's sequential. But look at what you can do with it. You can do stop motion animation.
Yeah, the stop motion stuff that I've seen on it is what really excites me about it. 6 seconds of a particular thing that's happening in my life. I don't know if I would know that. And that's kind of boring, I think, to most people. But the creative aspect of it, I really like the UI of it, right? You hold down your finger on the screen, and as long as your finger is pushing on the screen, it's recording that video for that amount of time. You lift it off, and it stops. So if you want to do stop motion, you just kind of tap it, and you're taking. It's just and
make sure you scream every other tap. It's just
that's the thing is I completely forget that it's recording audio. I think it's just video. And then you play it later, and it's crazy.
But so it didn't launch feature matching to iOS, but it did launch with exclusive feature, the Zoom feature, which is on Android only. So like interesting that they're like, oh well, here's a little thing.
You have to use the volume buttons for, which I mean, again, like because these cameras are not necessarily amazing quality. You zoom in, it's just like, oh okay, that didn't excite me as much as just.
But it was interesting that they launched it not feature matching to iOS, but they did say we'll give you this little extra thing. Yeah. So I don't know, it was neat. But
are you going to be vining like crazy, Gina?
I'm too much of a perfectionist. Like I recorded a couple of them, and I was just like, I can't publish this. It's not good enough. And like, you can't edit, and I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling the pressure from the iOS. And also, look, I'll be honest, like. Vine looked really cool when it came out, and I was like, oh, I want it, and then it just wasn't as new anymore, so I kind of lost a little bit of my enthusiasm about it.
Yeah.
Whatever. But now that Ron pointed out the looping sound, I also notice that now all the time. So I haven't posted a Vine yet, though I've taken a few of my daughter and then been like, I don't know, that's not good enough yet. It's not good for perfectionists because there's no editing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You got to get it right the first time, or that's it.
Yeah. Or try again. Yeah. I think it's interesting. Who knows how much of an impact.
Trying to build up the anticipation for my first Vine. I don't know what it's going to be. So follow me on Twitter and find out. Yeah, exactly. It'll really be. I might recreate Birth of a Nation. I'm not sure. Maybe. I'm working with it. So we'll see.
Do it. All right, Gina, I have your app loaded on my phone. Take it away.
Right on. So my app pick this week is Duolingo. This app has been out on iOS for a while. So this is another iOS first and Android next. It came out on Android, I think, just this past week. It's free, and it is a language learning app. So you got it installed there on your phone, Jason. I don't think it's tablet compatible.
Yeah.
All right, so you're on your phone there. So you launch it on your phone, and this is a really cool app. It sounds like it's kind of boring educational app. It's actually more like a game that helps you learn a language. So you launch the app. What's cool about this app? It's total gamified learning. So you can sign in with Facebook or Google. This is what Jason's doing right now. Which, by the way, sign in with Google is awesome. There's none of that OAuth craziness. You're not getting batted back and forth from app to app. You just sign in and you're in, which is really cool. So you can sign in with Google, you can sign in with Facebook, you can create a Duolingo account. And once you're in, you choose the language that you want to learn. It supports Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, Italian, and English. So which one did you choose there? It's hard for me to Spanish. Nice. Okay.
In light of Giganticon.
Giganticon. Perfect. So you choose your language, you tap next, and then it basically says, like, are you complete and utter beginner, or do you know a little bit? If you're a complete beginner, like I was when I started, I went with the first 2 lessons are just Basics 1 and Basics 2. So you can go to Basics 1, you tap that. You can see this is a really nicely designed app. It's not standard, really Android design, but it's really nice. It's really nice design. So lesson 1, you just start really simple. You start choosing, which one. Yeah. So you got a grid of pictures that show you different things, and then it says which one is the girl. So you tap the image of the girl.
La niña.
Right,
La niña.
and then it says La Niña, and then it pronounces the word exactly. So then you tap continue. Very simple. Yes. You're correct. Nice. And then the man. This is really super simple stuff. El hombre. You are the man, Jason.
Yes.
So you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, you've got a series of hearts. So you've got those series of hearts there. If you screw up, you break one of the hearts, and you only get so many hearts. Oh, wow. So you'll see you just went to a new screen. So now you have to translate this text to English. So it was el hombre, right? Yeah. So you can repeat it. You can choose the words, and then you tap next. You're correct. Awesome. So you're progressing through the lesson. Sweet. So it progresses like this, and it sort of builds on things that you learn on each screen. So you're correct. That's awesome. Hey, get some more. The pictures are the easiest ones.
Man, I'm so good at this game.
You are good at it. And then it starts to introduce new words, and you kind of guess what is it. What's the translation? Yeah, it gets a little harder. And you can make it. You can have it repeat the phrase as well.
Una niña.
Yeah.
Una niña. Yes.
You're good.
La mujer.
We're gonna get into not so good territory here pretty soon. Is there any way to unbreak broken hearts up here?
Well, you have to. So you only have so many hearts through a particular lesson. So if you break all the hearts, then you have to start over, redo the lesson. If you get to the end of the lesson with not all your hearts broken, then you can move. Then you unlock the next lesson.
The man. No. The band.
What was it?
The woman. See.
El niño.
All right.
Chad was helping you out there, but
thanks, Chad. Appreciate it.
It was a woman, yeah. So really cool, fun language learning app. Very, very gamified really, really well. I like learning. I like playing games. It's kind of nice to be able to do kind of the same thing, at the same time. It's designed really well in that if you don't hear what the person said, you can have you can just tap that the microphone or the speaker button to have have them say it again. There's a little turtle button that you can say, hey, say this again just really slowly and let me hear it. And you type in translations, and it's really smart too. So like if it asks you for the English translation and you type in Spanish, it'll say, hey, you're in the wrong language here, broken heart. Or it'll tell you, oh, hey, you got the singular versus the plural. The feedback is extremely smart. Apparently there's a whole army of scientists behind this who've done a bunch of research about language learning. And this is a completely free app, no ads. And it's got the website Duolingo.com. You can log on there and even get more information about learning a language. Really, really great, easy app to start learning a language. That was something that you always wanted to do. And I started, so I guess this launched earlier this week, and I started doing some of the lessons, and I was having a lot of fun, and then I put it down for a few hours, and then actually just before the show, I got a little notification that was like, hey, like now seems like a good time to practice. So it kind of nudges you, which is kind of fun. I don't know. I might want to turn that off. It might annoy me, but I was kind of like, oh yeah. But I found myself kind of picking it up and playing with it, in line with the grocery, and when I just had a few moments of downtime. So you would think with a name like Gina, I would know how to speak Italian, but I don't. So I'm excited to be able to do this here.
Ciao bella.
Duolingo, it is completely free.
That is awesome. That's great for free. I mean, something that gives you that kind of value from an educational standpoint, and that's awesome.
The background of Duolingo is cool too. What their mission is to kind of translate all the world of web from one language to the other, or from any language to another language. And the way they're doing that is through teaching. So you learn, and then they give you a sentence which they don't know what the translation is, and then you translate it like a human translates it, and then you have 5 people do that, and if 5 people all translate it the same way, then they go, yeah, that's correct, and now that's a translation that anyone else can use. So they'll like translate Wikipedia and stuff like that.
It's very cool.
It's really neat.
Very nice. Kind of the way Google learns about based on how people search. Yeah.
Or
that's
reCAPTCHA.
Really cool.
If you ever
reCAPTCHA.
if you ever knew about
reCAPTCHA,
reCAPTCHA, it works very much like reCAPTCHA.
And of course, it's got all the game things, like it's got achievements, and you earn badges and all that stuff. So you do kind of want to unlock the lessons. I broke all my hearts and didn't make it through one of the lessons, and I was like, damn it! And I turned around and did the whole thing right then, because I just had to prove to myself that I could. So it's very effective at getting you to want to do it, get it right.
Yes, Ron.
Can we go back to Chad? It looks like he's on green screen, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a new camera. New camera.
We got a new
panels.
camera in here.
It's like Chad in front of a twit background.
Generic background. I swear that it's not a generic background. But I can do this.
Well, you can do that with green screen.
Don't break it, Chad.
All right. Just start dancing on it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Anyway, so can you vote for these apps?
Yes, you can. Let's wrap this up. AAApoll.com/112, AAApoll.com/112 to vote for your favorite. Is it Toca Hair Salon 2, Giganticon, or Giganticon, Vine, or Duolingo? Early reports are in, and Duolingo and Giganticon are.
People in the chat room dismiss Giganticon, but I think it's gonna connect with people. Yeah, and it also ties in with Duolingo and Toca and Vine. Like, it's nice. So
see what happens. Duolingo.
No one likes Vine. I feel bad for choosing it.
Don't feel bad for choosing it. Someone had to do it.
You'll be surprised. I bet you when this episode goes out and the non-live, they'll love Vine.
Early reports say nothing about the end result.
Come on, guys.
Every week that's true.
Yeah.
So there we go. Awesome. Next week, super stoked to welcome Brian Klug, senior smartphone editor for Anantech. Very stoked to get him on the show next week. But we're still in this week, and I got to say, it's awesome having you on the show, Joe.
Am I allowed to do just one cheeky plug?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is your opportunity.
Nothing about
be extra
SwiftKey,
cheeky,
but you all know Jerry from Android Central, Jerry Hildenbrand. It's his birthday today. He was one of the earliest supporters of SwiftKey. He really helped us build our alpha community. So, Jerry, happy birthday!
Happy birthday,
Jerry!
Happy birthday.
Woo. Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
it's been great.
Where can people find SwiftKey and all that stuff?
Play Store, SwiftKey.net. Also Amazon App Store. Just go there, search for SwiftKey.
Cool. And if people want to find
Please
you,
try it.
you're Joe Braidwood on Twitter. And
Yeah, Joe
Google
Braidwood,
Plus?
all one word on Twitter, joe@swiftkey.net if you want to email me. I'm going to regret that now. I'm on Google Plus as me as well. Or, just get in touch with us via our website if you have any feedback. We have a pretty strong community of people sharing ideas, and it's always great to hear from people. So
Awesome.
Thank you.
Keep kicking butt with the app. I absolutely love
watch this
SwiftKey.
space. You wait.
Oh, can't wait. You said that last time you were on was before Flow came out, and you delivered. So I've learned to listen to Joe. That's what I've learned.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Ron, what you got?
Yeah, so go to about.me/RonXO. You can find all the links to my social network stuff like Google Plus and Twitter and all that fun stuff. And by day, I'm helping make comic books over at Image Comics. So go to imagecomics.com and keep an eye on that space in early July because there's going to be some interesting stuff coming.
So many teases.
I know.
This is
I
great.
like to tease.
What do you have, Gina?
Hey, I just uploaded a new version of my Android app to the Play Store just last night. It's to-do text, to-do.txt. It's got brand new scrollable, resizable 4.0 and above widget. It's got multitask entry. Check it out, todotext.com as well. And I also co-host This Week in Google on the Twit Network, which is on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. And I'll be on tomorrow with Jeff and Leo. I'm sure we'll be talking about some of the things we covered here on the show. And Jeff's out tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, so it'll just be me and Leo and I don't know.
Kevin Marks.
Oh, and Kevin Marks. Fantastic. It's going to be a really good show. I mean, I love Jeff, but it'll be a really good show.
He doesn't
so
love
come join
another
us. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, the Brits, they bring an authority that
it's just the accent. Really, there's nothing going
That's
on.
it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to work
so
on
come
getting
join for that.
a British accent. And
It's overrated.
People would buy it. No.
I mean, no.
Chad, what you got?
I do a few things on the Twit Network. I do OMG Craft, a show about Minecraft. This Week in YouTube, which is a show about YouTube, and produce a whole bunch of other shows. Thanks.
Excellent.
As well as This Week in Green Screen, which
As well as This Week in Green Screen, and also, This Week in Monochrome, because I don't like any color.
And you can find me at about.me/Jason Howell. I'm on the Google Plus. I'm on the Twitter at Jason Howell, and Yellow Gold Music is my music project. YellowGoldMusic.com is my music site. Promise to have something in the next week. I'm working hard on it.
Teasing away. Love it.
I know. Everybody is, so I might as well join the party. That's it for this week. Voicemails can be left for the show at 347-SHOW-AAA. Love to hear your feedback in your own voice, so leave us a voicemail there. Email the show at aaa@twit.tv. Attach a link to a video there, and it becomes a video mail, and we'll play your video on the show. Twitter at Android Show if you want to find us there, or Google Plus. We're there as well as an awesome community on Google Plus. Love interacting with that. Show notes can be found at twit.tv/AAA. You can also find past episodes there, as well as YouTube, iTunes, all over the internet. And finally, you can catch us live every Tuesday, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific at live.twit.tv. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android.
Do a little less.
Woo.
Yeah.